United Nations Human Rights Chief says that she will have an open mind and will not be prejudging anything ahead of a visit to Sri Lanka.
Yes, that's right, Stephanie. Navi Pillay will arrive this Sunday for an official 7-day visit to the country. United Nations Human Rights Commissioner Navi Pillay told Reuters in an email interview that she wants to see for herself the reconstruction and the rehabilitation effort and also the progress that is being made towards accountability and reconciliation. She added that there are plenty of issues to discuss, including some worrying ones and some more positive developments.
The principal of human rights is coming. She is coming to see if the children of Sri Lanka are upholding human rights as well. She is not going to Iraq. She is not going to America. She is not going to Afghanistan to see how the American army is looking after human rights there. But she is coming to Sri Lanka. She is coming to look at what we must do to ensure that we cannot maintain the peace that we have won in the long term.
Navanithan Pillay Mathiniya Lankawa Manawa Himikam.
Navanithan Pillay's visit to Sri Lanka to inquire into whether Sri Lanka has violated human rights is a violation of the fundamental that you must not hear your own case. So the person who is coming to inquire into whether human rights were violated is coming here in violation of several laws. So we have no faith in her. If she truly wants to inquire into whether human rights have been violated, we challenge her, like she is coming to Sri Lanka, to visit Afghanistan, Iraq, and at the very least, Egypt, where serious human rights violations are taking place. If you have the spine to undertake such a visit, then we are prepared to accept that you are coming here with honest intentions.
Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif says that he's looking forward to attending Shogam 2013 in Sri Lanka this year. He made this comment at a meeting with the Minister of External Affairs, Professor G.L. Pieris, in Islamabad today.
Issuing a communique, the Ministry of External Affairs said that during the meeting, Professor G.L. Pieris has handed over President Rajapaksa's letter of invitation to the Commonwealth Health Government meeting in Colombo to the Pakistani Prime Minister. According to the communique, the Pakistani Premier had responded that he looks forward to attending the summit and had wished the event every success. The Minister of External Affairs noted that Professor G.L. Pieris had expressed Sri Lanka's appreciation of the steadfast support by Pakistan towards Sri Lanka in all international fora, including the Human Rights Council. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has assured the visiting Sri Lankan minister Pakistan's continuing goodwill and support. The communique also notes that Minister Pieris had briefed Prime Minister Sharif about the current activities of the LTT's international network and requested the government of Pakistan to be vigilant with regard to such activities and to share relevant information with Sri Lanka. During the meeting, the two sides had expressed satisfaction on defense cooperation as well as to increase bilateral trade to $2 billion by 2015.
The second advance visit program ahead of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting 2013 was held in Colombo today. At the program, a question was raised by one of the delegates over accreditation to the High Commissioners during Shogam 2013.
Those who accompanied their heads of state, they're the ones who are going to be standing with their heads of state, that they also be able to have the same privileges as your ministers and the security have in not being screened. That I think it's something that needs to be looked at. And I think it's something that if Sri Lanka can start that others would follow suit.
You are quite aware that these are the rules imposed by the Commonwealth Secretariat. And so we will definitely have to take it up with them as well. And most certainly we support your view on that, and practically that is so. And access then becomes an issue when a particular head of government or head of state wants his or her High Commissioner. So I'll take it back to the Commonwealth Secretariat and let's see what we can do about that.
The 5th annual SWAN, or South Asia Women's Network Conference on Gender Equity for Peace and Sustainable Development for the Women of South Asia took place in Colombo today.
The event was held under the auspices of the Minister of Economic Development, Basil Rajapaksa.
The event was organized by South Asia Women's Network, or SWAN, in partnership with the Women's Chamber of Industry and Commerce. The conference was attended by SWAN delegates from across South Asia. Speaking at the event, former Vice-Chancellor Professor Savitri Gunasekara spoke on the Right to Information Act, which is yet to be set up in Sri Lanka.
We live today in an age where everybody is talking about information technology, creating knowledge hubs, and the focus is on information. And yet, we know that human development requires much greater sensitivities, a much more diverse approach to education. Sri Lanka is one of the few countries in South Asia which does not have a Right to Information Act. This is a serious gap because sustainable development and human rights and accountable governance is fostered rather than undermined by a concept of freedom of information and freedom of the media.
India's External Affairs Minister Salman Khurshid has said that he hopes Colombo would reciprocate Delhi's gesture and release arrested Indian fishermen immediately.
According to The Hindu, replying to supplementary questions in the Lok Sabha, the External Affairs Minister Salman Khurshid meanwhile had said that he had strongly taken up with his Sri Lankan counterpart Professor G.L. Peiris on Monday the expeditious release of Indian fishermen in Sri Lankan custody. Speaking regarding comments made by Professor G.L. Peiris, Khurshid said that they were not really positive, adding that the Sri Lankan minister was perhaps sharing his views freely. He said Professor Peiris should consult Sri Lanka's Attorney General and find a solution to the problem. Stressing that no Sri Lankan fisherman was in Indian custody, Khurshid had also questioned the new process adopted by Sri Lanka, asking Indian fishermen to face a magistrate and seek bail and file bonds, pleading guilty. The Hindu reports that Khurshid had noted that a solution could be drawn up by a meeting of fishermen from the two sides and requested the Tamil Nadu government to finalize the dates for the proposed meeting at the earliest.
Former UNP General Secretary Sirisena Kure notes that late President and former UNP leader R. Premadasa would never postpone a program initiated by him.
Yes, that's right, Stephanie. He points out that Premadasa proved this quality through action by contesting presidential elections in 1988 amid the prevailing tensions in the country.
It was a situation where none of our people could step outside. UNP supporters were being killed and hacked to death. We couldn't even hold a meeting. We couldn't raise a flag. That was the situation in Sri Lanka. We somehow emerged victorious from a very tough battle. I wish to make a special note of our very first meeting. We held it in Kandy. Everyone said that the meeting could not be held. Believe me when I say, Premadasa never postponed anything for any reason. He said he did not need the army or the police and that he would do it himself. He asked us to come if we wish, and what a meeting it was. I took everyone from central Colombo. He said that within an hour all of Kandy must be dressed in green. He was on the road. He said no matter what comes, he will remain on the road. He did not want the police, the army or any other type of protection. The JVPers got to know of this and then they prepared to do something. Within about an hour, the entire city opened the doors of their homes and the meeting was held. I was informed later that Vijay Viro too had come there and listened.
Most Venerable Girambe Ananda Thera suggests that the leader of the UNP and opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe be brought before the working committee and an investigation be carried out on the acts of destroying the party and thereby administer a punishment on him.
The Anunaik of the Sri Lanka Ramanya sect made this suggestion in a letter addressed to the United National Party leader Ranil Wickremesinghe and the UNP working committee.
Most Venerable Girambe Ananda Thera says that he was made aware by media reports about the formation of an organization named the Samagi Balavegaya, created by the leader of the United National Party, citing several proposals including the executive presidency. The Venerable Thera pointed out that though this initiative is commendable, it is not being done with good intentions. Quote, the Most Venerable Madhurava Sobhita Thera and a group of intellectuals compiled a document citing the need to abolish the executive presidency and presented it to the Most Venerable Chief Prelates and other religious leaders and later presented it to society. At present, the society is being briefed on this matter by the Mahasangha and other religious leaders. Unquote. The Anunaika says that the United National Party meanwhile had compiled a draft hastily and had taken measures to present it to the public. The Most Venerable Thera says that this is yet another attempt to safeguard the UNP leadership, which is being disgraced by the society day by day, and to cover up the incompetence of the United National Party. Quote, thousands of persons who worked hard to protect the party have been chased away, citing various allegations. There are no seniors in the party. There is no organization. Today what is left in the UNP is leadership and persons who destroyed the UNP like Mangala Samarvira. The party is similar to a moving three-wheel. The United National Party is not in existence. Unquote. Therefore, in his letter, the Arunayaka of the Ramanya sect requests that steps be taken to first obtain the support of all those who left the party and subsequently set up the United National Party Samagi Balavegaya. Quote, the amendment proposal presented by Most Venerable Sobhita Thera is temporary. This could be achieved with the support of the incumbent president. The proposal by the United National Party is an act to deceive the public. Under the present circumstances, the United National Party will not be steered towards victory for many generations to come. The proposal made by the United National Party can be viewed as a Machiavellian attempt to sweep the proposals put forward by Venerable Sobhita Thera under the carpet. Unquote.
Let's now quickly take a look at tonight's Action TV.
නෑ මම දැන් ඔයා දැන් මට උදේ කිව්වා ඊයේ කිව්වා බලන්න ඔයා බලනවා විතරනේ මෙතන මේ මිනිස්සුන්ට පාරේ ඉන්න බෑ දූවිල්ල ගල් ඇහෙනවා පුංචි ළමයි ඉන්නවා වටපිටේ ගෙවල් තියෙනවා අටුම තරමින් පාර හදනක වතුර ටිකවත් ගහන්නකෝ දූවිල්ල ටික නැති වෙන්න මොකද අර මේ අර දීරපු ලයින් එක විතර පම්ප් කරලා වෙන මේ සප්ලයි කරන්නේ නැහැ මේක එයා කරනවා ලෝකයි තත්ති දැන් අර නැද්ද දැන් කායි කෙනෙකුට කතා කරන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ දැන් සම්මතුරේ ඕ මිස්ටර් ඉතින් මම කාටද කතා කරන්න කියන්නකෝ මට තිබ්බනම් තාරටිය මම දාලා දෙනවා වෙන කාටද කතා අපි අධිකරණයේ අපිට තියෙන එච්චරනේ අන්තිම තැන අපිට තියෙන්නේ අධිකරණයේ විහිද තමයි හොඳයි ඔයාලා වෙනුවෙන් මම ඒ දේ කරන්නම්.
As promised to these people on Tuesday, the OIC of the Central Camp Police in Ampara sought redress from the courts yesterday. The OIC made submissions to court regarding a matter of inconvenience to the public. The people in this area are unable to breathe freely and travel on the 2-kilometer stretch of road from Ohana to the central camp. The road was resurfaced with the ABC mixture in November last year, parallel to the Dayatakidwa National Development Exhibition. The dust from the road comes into our homes. Small children fall sick. We do not know who the contractor is, but from time to time people come here, work for about a week and then leave. When it rains, the road is more impassable than it was before. In an age where the dearth of public problems are determined on the scale of public protest, it is admirable that the OIC of the Central Camp Police decided to act on behalf of these people, disregarding the numbers at the protest. The approach of the OIC is also to be commended. Shouldn't steps be taken against the officials who are disrupting road development in Ampara? Minister of Ports and Highways, this is over to you.
Tonight on our segment Words of Wisdom, we'll take a look at the thoughts of world heavyweight boxing champion Muhammad Ali on the subject of success and suffering. I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. Muhammad Ali.
The special import tax on big potato or on potatoes and big onions have been increased with effect from today.
The import tax on a kilogram of potatoes have been lifted from 25 kilograms to 25 rupees to 40 rupees, while the import tax on a kilogram of big onions has been increased from 30 rupees to 35 rupees.
The Ministry of Finance and Planning issuing a statement notes that the special import levy was imposed to provide relief to the local farmers and added that the measure would ensure a reasonable price for locally produced onions and potatoes. Over the recent past, the Ministry of Finance and Planning took measures to increase the taxes of several goods on a number of occasions. Meanwhile, shares of the Colombo Stock Exchange, which had experienced a precipitous downward plunge over the week, continued with its downward trend following trading today. The all-share price index fell by 134.05 points, which is a drop of 2.2%. The all-share price index at the CSE dropped by 281.38 points this week alone. Thereby, the drop at the Colombo Stock Exchange this week was calculated at 4.5%. The significant drop at the Colombo Stock Exchange has been attributed to the fall of shares at several major enterprises.